The night had settled like a heavy fog, casting a pall over the small town. My name is David, and I had only been working as a dispatcher for a few weeks when I received a call that would forever change me. The voice on the other end was shaky, barely audible over the crackling line. 911, what's your emergency? A whisper, as if the person was afraid of being heard. You need to help her. She's trapped. Ma'am, please stay calm. Who needs help? Can you give me your location? She's in the basement. They won't let her leave. My fingers fumbled on the keyboard as I dispatched a police unit to the address. Help is on the way, ma'am. Stay with me. They come at night. Shadows in the dark. They hurt her. I could feel the tension in the air, a growing sense of dread. The police will be there soon. Can you tell me who's hurting her? A pause, and then a shuddering breath. The ones who died. They want her to join them. Chills ran down my spine as I tried to keep my voice steady. Just hold on. They'll be there any minute. They whispered to me too. In my dreams. They want me to let them out. My heart raced as I heard the sound of sirens in the background. The police are close. They'll take care of everything. A sudden scream pierced the air, followed by a crashing noise. The line went silent, and I could only hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Ma'am, are you there? Static. Then, a different voice, low and raspy, like nails scraping against metal. We're free. The call ended abruptly, and I stared at the screen in disbelief. I watched as the police reported back from the address, describing a dilapidated house at the edge of town. The basement was locked, and they had to force their way in. Inside, they found a room covered in old, faded drawings of faces twisted in pain. And in the center of the room, a single chair. But the room was empty. As the days turned into weeks, the unease lingered. The caller's voice, the whispers of the past, haunted my thoughts. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had been unleashed that night, something that should have stayed locked away. And every now and then, in the middle of the night, I could swear I heard faint whispers on the wind, carrying echoes of a darkness that had been set free. I'm a dispatcher at the local 911 center. I've heard a lot of strange calls over the years, but there's one that still haunts my nights. It was a stormy evening, rain lashing against the windows, and the distant rumble of thunder echoed in the background. The phone rang, and I picked it up, my fingers feeling a shiver before I even heard the voice on the other end. 911, what's your emergency? I said, my voice professional despite the unease creeping into my heart. A whisper, so faint it was almost lost in the static, responded. They're watching. Who's watching? Can you please state your emergency? A pause, and then the voice came again, softer this time, almost a breath. They're here. In the shadows. Always watching. I could feel my pulse quickening. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Can you tell me where you are? The shadows move, the voice hissed, and I could sense the panic growing. I can't escape them. They're coming closer. I dispatched a police car, my own voice feeling small amidst the chilling presence of the caller. Help is on the way, sir. Stay on the line with me. But the voice didn't respond. Instead, I heard a soft rustling, like something moving against the phone. They're inside. Inside the walls. Crawling. Fear clenched my chest, and I wished I could see what was happening on the other end. Sir, stay quiet. The police are almost there. The whisper grew louder, an almost manic edge to it. They're hungry. Hungry for the dark places. The corners of your mind. I could hear sirens in the distance, relief flooding me. But then, a scream erupted through the phone, a scream that was suddenly cut off. My heart pounded in my chest as I yelled into the receiver. Sir? Can you hear me? Silence. Only the sound of rain tapping against the window like 100 tiny fingers. Hours later, the police arrived at the caller's location. An old, abandoned house at the edge of town. The rain had turned the ground to mud, and the wind whispered through the trees. They entered the house cautiously, flashlights cutting through the darkness like blades. And there, in a small, dilapidated room, they found the phone, still off the hook. But the caller was nowhere to be found. It was a moonless night, and the small 911 center was bathed in an eerie, dim light. I had thought I had heard it all until that fateful call came in. The phone rang, and a sense of unease tightened my chest even before I answered. 911, what's your emergency? Silence. Not a breath, not a sound. Just a static-filled void on the other end. Hello? Can you hear me? I repeated, my voice tinged with caution. A faint, distant whisper drifted through the line, barely audible. Help, trapped. My fingers tensed on the receiver. I'm here to help. Can you tell me where you are? Lost, in the dark. They took my light. Who took your light? Please, I need more information. The Watchers, they feed on the light. Leave only dark. The hairs on my neck stood on end, and I dispatched an officer while trying to keep my voice steady. Help is on the way. Stay on the line. They come closer, shadows shifting. Hungry. Officer is en route. Just hold on. They want to be seen, to be free. The line crackled, and I could barely hear the distant sound of footsteps. The police are almost there. Stay with me. A sudden, sharp inhale, as if the caller was gasping for air. They're here. Static filled the line, and my heart raced. Hello? Can you hear me? The silence stretched, and then, a sound that sent a chill down my spine, a guttural, inhuman growl. And then, a voice, distorted and twisted, echoed through the line, "We see you." The call abruptly ended, and I stared at the phone in disbelief. Panic clawed at my throat as I listened to the officer's report. They had arrived at an old abandoned building, its windows shattered and its walls oozing darkness like a wound in reality. They entered cautiously, flashlights sweeping the void-like interior. But there was no sign of anyone. Weeks passed, but the feeling of being watched lingered. I couldn't shake the sensation that the darkness from that call was still lurking, waiting to be unleashed. And every time I closed my eyes, I could hear faint whispers, a chorus of voices lost in the void. As the months went by, I discovered that others had received similar calls, each ending in an unsettling disappearance. An unsettling pattern emerged, as if the darkness itself was hungry for those who reached out for help. And to this day, I can't escape the feeling that the shadows I glimpsed from the corner of my eye hold secrets darker and more terrifying than anything I could ever imagine.